What is up? Welcome back to the channel. Man, it's been a while. It's been a month plus or something like that, but we're back again today. We got another John Cena update. I know I said I didn't want to do a lot of these like in a row, and that's kind of why I haven't had another video, because my last video I put up was a John Cena collection update, and I was kind of looking for something else to do, but I haven't really had a lot coming in, nothing kind of new or special really that I felt like needed a video, at least from me per se. And I've had these John Cena's kind of prepped and waiting to go up on the shelf for the next time I made a video for basically since I made that last one. So it's been a while that these have just been chilling here. So I want to get them off my desk. I want to get them up in the shelf so the collection looks, you know, complete for what I have right now. But so I got another 6 John Cena's set up and ready. 2 are basically the same figure. I'll explain that in a sec. But yeah, we have another 6 to go through. Nothing too crazy or exciting, to be honest, but just another 6 to the collection to get updated. At this point, there's not much left exciting about John Cena. I mean, we've talked about him so much with all these videos, and so it's just kind of a lot of the same. Hopefully, these will start to get a little shorter, maybe, but who knows with the way I talk. Like I said, I know these aren't everybody's favorite, but it's fun for me. I enjoy it. I like talking about wrestling figures, so even if, you know, 10 people watch or whatever, it's not any sweat off my back, I guess, if you will. But yeah, that's enough talking. Let's get into these figures, kind of look at them, see what we got. The first up is actually kind of a special one to me, if you will, but this is a basic Mania 35 John Cena. So he's in his street gear, which is kind of different. That's an interesting one. We haven't seen too many of these, if any, that I can think of, where he's in long pants. Most, if not all of them, he's in the jorts or the trunks, depending on, you know, the prototype gear that we saw in one of the very first videos when he had the trunks on, the underwear looking trunks. But the reason this is special is this is the final figure of the year 2019 for John Cena that I had on my list of figures to collect. So if you go back through and watch, you know, all my videos, I didn't specifically call out everyone from 2019, but every 2019 6-inch Mattel John Cena has now been added to the collection. This was the final piece. That's the only full year I have completed as of now. As of filming this video, December 3rd is when I'm filming this, of 2025. The challenge, I have about, you know, less than a month left now. Obviously, December 31st would be the end of the year. And we're nowhere close. This is going to be a continuing thing, I guess. I didn't get anywhere close to finishing. I'm still well off. But we will start a new challenge for 2026, and we'll kind of keep working on John Cena here and there as we go. But as of once 2026 starts, we'll have a new challenge. I already got that in mind. I already got it in the books. And we'll still keep working on the John Cena. I still am working on the Rey Mysterio one. I did one of those videos at one point, so I'm still doing that as well. That one's just a little more time consuming and a little less of a priority, I would say. Just because the figures are older, so some of them are harder to find, some of them are more expensive, things like that. So trying to go in year order with Rey and the Jax figures is a little more difficult. But we still are working on that. So that is a series that will continue as well. But the Rey and the John, once 2026 starts, will kind of move to the back burner and just be a once every once in a while kind of video until we can finish off the John Cena collection. Obviously, there's still a ton more that are coming out. John gets a new figure either released or announced basically every week at this point because of it being his last year. And I'm sure pretty much all of his gear from this year will be made into a figure of some kind, just to kind of commemorate this year. So I'm sure that will happen. But yes, this is the final one I needed for 2019. So very excited to have a complete year done. I will be honest, it was like 5 figures that came out of John Cena in 2019. So it was not a lot. But still, the first year is done with this WrestleMania 35 basic. I don't believe this is what he wore at WrestleMania 35. I don't even know what he did at WrestleMania 35, to be honest. I'm not sure. I don't know if he wore this at WrestleMania. The only WrestleMania that I could think of that he may have wore this was the one when he wrestled The Undertaker in like a 30-second squash match where he was like in the audience, and we weren't sure if him and The Undertaker were even going to wrestle. So he might have wore this at that WrestleMania. And the back of his shirt actually says WrestleMania from 2018. So the one in New Orleans, I felt like that was 30, but there was another one in New Orleans like right after, a couple years after the 30, because 30, The Undertaker wrestled Lesnar, I believe, and that's when he lost. I don't know. I can't remember. Don't quote me on all those years and manias, but yeah, I have no idea which WrestleMania. Oh, this is 34. It literally says it on the front of his shirt. Jeez Louise. Yeah, so this is the WrestleMania 35 basic, so it came out when WrestleMania 35 was happening, but this is what John Cena wore at WrestleMania 34, so if I would just read the shirts, they would have made that whole last bit unnecessary, but yeah, it says it right there on either side of his skull where it says the 34, and you can see New Orleans, blah, 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 but yes, enough about this basic that's really just basic. I don't know why I spent so much time on that, but 2019 is officially done. I will keep you up to date if I finish any other years, but I'm not really close on any other years per se. The late like teens, early 20s is when he was really kind of transitioning to that part-time role. So he has a lot less figures in those years just because of him not performing as much. But then obviously pre that, early, 2010 is when Mattel started. So 2010 through, I don't know what it is, 2016 or 17, he's got 30 plus figures every single year. So that's why it's a little tougher to finish some of the other years. But next up, we're going to go with another basic. This is Basic Superstars Entrance Series 3. We talked about the Superstar entrances in another video where they were exclusive to Walmart, I believe, and they came and kind of what they would look like when they were walking down to the ring. So obviously we know John Cena always would wear one of his t-shirts down to the ring. So this was what he looked like during an entrance at that time of when this figure came out. I don't remember the exact year for this figure. So that is whenever he had the yellow gear and shirts. But yeah, this is Basic Superstars Entrance Series 3. There's at least a couple more of these, I believe. I did get these. I'll go back to this one. I did buy this one mint on card. I opened it. I got it off of eBay, I think. I can't remember the prices on any of these, to be honest, because like I said, I've had these prepped and like waiting for me to make this video for a month now, or like basically since I posted that last video, whenever that was. So I've had a lot of these for even longer than that. So yeah, like I said, I don't know what I paid for some of these. I've had them for a long time, but this was another one. Like I said, I got it on eBay and I opened it. It was mint on card, so there is that one. Let's jump over to an Elite now, and we're going to go with a little bit more of a modern one. We have the Elite 118, so 118 series of Elites. But we have this gangster John Cena. I believe this is WrestleMania 22 when he came out. This was his entrance look. He had the hat and the long, trench coat, I guess, is what you want to call it. I'm not going to mess with it and stuff just because I like the way he's posed. But if you take the jacket off, he's got, his jorts and stuff on underneath there. But yeah, this was the collector's edition for Series 118. So if I'm not mistaken, they're not in every case or every pack of Series 118. They're kind of in like special ones. And I believe this might have been a timed exclusive to Walmart or Target. I can't remember. But a lot of these collector's edition John Cena's, we had the clear one that we talked about. I think that was its own video, just when I just talked about the clear one. But a lot of those collector's editions this year, at least, they've started where, they've been exclusive to a specific retailer like Walmart or Target, whatever, and then they'll open up to everywhere after the fact. And most of the time by everywhere, it's pretty much just Ringside Collectibles gets them then. Because by that point, like Target doesn't want any more of Series 118 or whatever once it's available to sell. This John Cena, if this one was exclusive to Walmart, if that makes sense. I'm kind of rambling there, I feel like, but you get what I'm saying. So yes, this is the 118 Collector's Edition. So he's part of Series 118, but he's not like officially a part of Series 118, if that makes sense. This one I got from another collector in Chicago. He found this for me and sent it my way. I traded him some of the stuff that I had that I didn't want anymore. So I didn't pay anything for this figure specifically, but I had paid for what I sent him. So yes, this is another John Cena off the list. It has been really nice to have that guy help me out in Chicago. He's found me, gosh, probably like 3 or 4 other ones that he's sending me as well. So he's helped actually boost my numbers quite a bit with these Johns, especially with some of the new ones, because I haven't seen any of these new ones. Like, I've never seen this in store. Some of the other ones he sent me, I've still to this day never seen in store. My brother picked me up one that I've still never seen in store myself. So like, some of these collector's editions ones are really tough. And it's I'm very fortunate that I have, like I said, my brother looking out for me, and I met this guy in Chicago now that's been sending me stuff. So very cool to have help. Good advice for any collector out there. Don't think you have to do it on your own. Have help. My wife helps me out. My brother helps me out. I met this new guy in Chicago. I'm in a ton of Facebook groups. So accept help if you're a collector. I'm telling you, it's very, very nice, especially if you have stuff that you're willing to trade. Obviously, I probably could have just bought this figure from that guy, and he would have, charged me retail or maybe a little more for like a finder's fee type of thing. But either way, it's nice to get rid of stuff that I don't necessarily want anymore, and it's nice for him to be able to, he bought that specifically for me, so it's not like it was taking up space in his collection, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's nice to be able to help each other out there. So enough on that. That was the, like I said, Elite Series 118 Collector's Edition. So, in his gangster look. So really cool to get this, actually, because this was one that, it was a different John Cena. You know what I mean? Most of them are pretty plain Jane, jorts and a t-shirt, where this is definitely a different look for John. So very, very, very cool to have that one. All right, so we're going to have another basic here. I don't even know what the heck this one is here. Okay, this is one of those weird ones. We talked about it a while ago in one of the videos. But this is the X7218. This came out in 2012, and it's he has the green armbands. It's kind of how they differentiate it on Wrestling Figure Database, which is where I get all my information from. So, man, it's getting warm out here. But that's where I get all my info from. So anything that I say or have in these videos comes right from them. So all the credit for the knowledge kind of goes to them when it comes to, like I said, knowing that this was the last one I needed for 2019. It came from their site. Like, I wrote them all down right from their site, and then I checked them off right from their site. So like I said, this one is kind of differentiated by the fact that he has the green armbands. That's how I look at it, I guess. I don't know. The same exact figure, I believe, is a Signature Series one. I'm not sure exactly which Signature Series, if it's 3 or 4 or whatever it is. But I believe it's the same exact figure that was made. It was officially made for the Signature Series, and then it was put into this 7218 series. If you don't remember, you didn't see that video, the 7218 was like a special line that they did for stores that don't have full toy sections. So you're talking like Kohl's and Macy's and TJ Maxx, different places like that might have like a small aisle of toys for kids to look at when they're out shopping with mom and dad. And they didn't want all of the peg warmers sitting on their shelves since they had such a small area of for toys. So that's where Mattel made the 7218 series. So 7218 are your guys like John Cena, Randy Orton, guys like that, bigger name guys. I think Sheamus at the time was a 7219 guy, or a 7218. Yeah, 7218. But basically the only way to tell, or the only way to differentiate that, is on the back of the box, right above the barcode. There's an assortment number, and that means nothing to consumers like us. It's just something for the factory, but that's how the factory would know, obviously, that this was for the special cases or whatever. So that's the story with this one. These ones are so annoying to try to find because they're all basics. All the 7218s or whatever are basics. And a lot of times people don't take full pictures of basics because they're more for kids. They're not really for collectors. So like, there's not a ton of collectors out there trying to find like super mint on card basics. So a lot of times, A, the package is destroyed anyway, so you're gonna open it regardless. And B, the person selling it is probably a mom or a grandpa or grandma or something that bought this for a kid, and that kid never even cared after that. You know what I mean? So like, now they just have this mint on card figure sitting there, and they don't even, they don't take pictures of everything because they're just trying to get some money out of it, whatever. So a lot of times you can't see the back of the box for those. So it's a pain in the ass. I've only purchased 2, and that's because they had good pictures and I could specifically see it was the 7218. Other than that, I haven't bought any of those 7218s because they're just so hard to tell what it is. They're also the same exact figure as a different figure. So yeah, it is what it is. But all right, we're down to the final 2, and they're basically the same figure. They are the same figure. I mean, they were made years apart, but they were made... One was made because of the first one, if that makes sense. So the first one we're going to talk about was the original one that came out. This is the Champ is Here. This was a Toys R Us exclusive. Yeah, Champ is Here Elite. So this was a special one that they did for John. That was a Toys R Us exclusive, like I said. This is him in his prototype looking gear. And he came with like the United States title, the world title. He came with a bunch of accessories. It was like a whole big special thing for Toys R Us. I believe it was a little more expensive than an Elite at the time. Even more expensive than like... Toys R Us was always more expensive than like your Walmarts and your Targets. But this one, you know, if Target was $19.99 for an Elite, Toys R Us would have been like $22.99. This one I think was even more than that because of it being, you know, so special and having even more accessories. I never found this in stores or saw it at a Toys R Us. And this one, to be honest, I've had for years. I bought this when I first started collecting, not when I first started, but like since I've been collecting, because I mentioned before, my goal was to collect only figures and all figures that were based pre-2008. And this is obviously a prototype figure of John from before when he was, you know, in OVW and first came up to WWE. So this was definitely before 2008. So I bought this on eBay a while ago, and I bought it loose. So this is literally all I got. I didn't get any accessories. I didn't get anything with it. And that's why originally I was going to, I omitted this from the list. So this wasn't shown in my first or second video that I did when I showed all of the John Cena's I already had. I wasn't going to count this one because I didn't get it mint on card. I didn't have all the accessories, things like that. But the fact that this is such an expensive figure now, especially to buy it mint on card, I was like, it just doesn't make sense to waste the money or to use that money when I have so many other John Cena's to get. Like, if this was the last John Cena I needed, then like, yeah, I'd buy it mint on card and just spend the money. But like, I still have 100 plus at least other Johns to get. So like, why not use that money a different way? So I just figured, what the hell? Nobody cares. Nobody's going to know. You know what I mean? He's not perfect. He's not mint condition by any means. You can kind of see his head. It's so blurry now, but the front of his hair has like slight scuffing. There's a few scuffs on his chest that looks like maybe a kid had played with it a little bit. I don't care. But once it's on the shelf and everything, you're not going to be able to tell. I've never noticed those things looking at it when it's been in my displays before, like when he was with all my other Elites and stuff. So it is what it is. I don't keep most of the accessories, like the belts and stuff. I don't really keep with them anyways on my shelf. So yeah, but yeah, this is the Champ Is Now special that they did for John. It was a Toys R Us exclusive. This was kind of a weird Toys R Us, or a weird figure to make as it is, because like, he wasn't the US champ or the world champ when he looked like this. So like, it was really just a way for you to get those belts if you needed them for your Fig Fed. And then you just have this kind of jobber John Cena, if you will. But yes, that is the Champ Is Now John Cena. Now, we've talked about these before. I believe we did one other one, but we did the From the Vault series. So Mattel re-released this and did the From the Vault version. So it's essentially the exact same figure. It came with all the same accessories and everything, I believe. This one may have had a few more in the ways of hands and stuff like that. But other than that, it was like a straight re-release from what they did before. Obviously with all the updated stuff. So like, he's got the pinless joints and all that jazz. I did put another head. I don't remember if the first one came with another head originally, but this one did have a blonde head. So I put the blonde head on it just to have some bit of difference from the original. But this is, like I said, From the Vault Series 5. This was a Ringside exclusive, so I did pick this up on Ringside, brand new. It was one of their sales they did. It might have been the Halloween sale, now that I think about it. He was like $21.99. He's even cheaper now, if I'm not mistaken, with like their Cyber Monday sale, or well, he was when they had their Cyber Monday sale going. I don't know if it's still going or not, but yeah, so that is the From the Vault Series 5. Now, he does kind of have a weird, I don't know if this is still the Vietnam factory thing or what, but like, his leg, it kind of goes, like you can't have him have a wide stance. See, like it doesn't have the articulation there. And then he just kind of goes back, like he doesn't stay. So it's not the greatest of figures, to be honest. So like if you have the money and the ability, this is the one I would get still, in my opinion. I mean, obviously it has the pins and stuff. But if you're a mint on card collector, for sure I would get that one, because I think the packaging is way cooler back then than the From the Vault packaging. Not that the From the Vault's bad packaging, but I just think it's cooler. But yeah, playability-wise, this one's not great. This whole new Vietnam factory is not going well, in my opinion. As of now, it will get better, I'm sure. But yeah, that is the From the Vault Series 5 John. And that's another 6 added to the list. So we had 2 really, really modern ones. Obviously, the Gangster one and this new From the Vault are super modern. They came out in 2025. All the rest were a little bit older. But yeah, that's another 6 down. Another 6 we're going to get added into my wall. I will do a video around December 31st-ish and kind of show you where I ended for the year. Anything I buy post that obviously won't be included. So everything, I am going to try to pump out a lot of these John videos this month, because I want to get completely up to date. Like, I don't want to have any John Cena's lying around. So that way on December 31st, I can honestly show you exactly what I accomplished in that year, or in this year of 2025. Obviously, I had some from before, but what are you going to do about that? We're going to count them for having gotten them in 2025. But yes, so that's where we are with the video. If you watch this far even anyways, you'll know that I'm going to try to pump out a lot of these John videos, because I want to be fully up to date going into January. That way, any video you see of the John Cena collection in 2026, you know that I didn't get it in the 2025 challenge, if that makes sense. And then we'll also start, hopefully around January 1st-ish, I'll start the next challenge, or I'll do the first video for the next challenge. It's probably not going to be any more exciting than the John Cena one, to be honest. It'll have more characters in it. It's not just centered around one guy, but we'll get to that in about a month. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. See you later.